So you all have just obviously saw the tweet that Skip Bayless had tweeted on his Twitter account page a few days ago. I believe that was within maybe 45 minutes or so, or maybe a half an hour or so after the unfortunate, unforeseen tragedy that occurred on the football field on Monday night with the wide receiver Higgins for the Cincinnati Bengals and Damar Hamlin for the Buffalo Bills. Obviously, we know at this point that 174 million people viewed Skip Bayless's tweet. And I would be remiss if I did not provide a sentiment for Damar Hamlin and his family and friends that supporting him in his hometown of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and even that are still out there supporting him in Cincinnati, Ohio. I have personally prayed for Mr. Hamlin, his family. I prayed for his teammates. I prayed for all parties involved with the medical personnel staff. I prayed for the coaching staff. I prayed for all the fans that watched it live, that were there in Cincinnati at the game. I prayed for the fans who watched it live on television, whether you are a part of media, social media, or if you were just an average football fan who watched the game live and even after the fact. And so I said all that to say that let us not be distracted by Skip Bayless's tweets. I know that there are other YouTubers and people that have mentioned their opinions or what they want to happen to Skip Bayless and what they think should happen to Skip Bayless. They've talked about this on some of these channels on YouTube. And I noticed something, that the more I've heard certain people, whether they were celebrities or not, talk about Skip Bayless and his tweet, the less I heard those same people talk about what they have done to make a positive contribution to Mr. Hamlin and his family. And so I chalked all this up as just a mere distraction. You want to know why it's a mere distraction? Because what Skip Bayless said is not important. It's not that important. What's important is donating to the toy drive that Mr. Hamlin set up in 2020, where his initial goal was only $2,500. And here we are, nearly 2 years later, and he didn't reach that goal. But thank God, as of today, his goal has exceeded expectations because of the outpouring love and support of fans all across the world. And I think the total donations received are upward of $5 million. That's important. What Skip Bayless tweeted is not that important. What's more important is that we pray, those of us who do pray, that we do pray for the teammates of Mr. Hamlin, the teammates of Mr. Higgins, who sat there and watched a fellow athlete lay lifeless on the football field. That's important. What Skip Bayless tweeted is not that important. What's more important is that we pray for the medical staff and medical personnel who were there administering CPR and defibrillation on this young man. That's more important. What Skip Bayless tweeted is not that important. What's more important is that we pray for Mr. Hamlin's family, his mother. I believe he has a younger brother. His uncle is there. His family that's still out there that traveled from Pittsburgh all the way to Cincinnati. That's more important. What Skip Bayless tweeted, it's not that important. What's more important is that we pray for the fans who sat there and watched that unfortunate occurrence and tragedy live. That's more important. What Skip Bayless tweeted is not that important. What's more important is that we all get together and donate to the toy drive that Mr. Hamlin set up. And you know, by the way, I think 174,000 people donated already, which is great because the toy drive exceeded all expectations and have reached upward of $5 million. So 174 million people watched Skip Bayless's tweet, but only 174,000 donated to the GoFundMe page for the toy drive that Mr. Hamlin set up. That's more important. What Skip Bayless tweeted is really not that important. What's more important is that we really think about how many times athletes get hit. It may not go through this extent where someone lose a pulse and almost lose their life. But a lot of athletes, they get hit in all sports. But what's more important is that we always keep that in mind, that all athletes who are involved in not just contact sports, but in collision sports like football, they go out there, all athletes, they go out there and their number one objective is to entertain and use their skill sets to do it. I think that's more important, to keep those things in mind. What Skip Bayless tweeted is really not that important. Now, if you're going to talk about Skip Bayless's tweet, I encourage you to show receipts that you donated money to the toy drive. I encourage you to show your support in words through social media, instead of using your opportunity and platform to talk about a distraction such as a Skip Bayless tweet. Because Skip Bayless's tweet is not that important. There's a 24-year-old man who's laying in a hospital bed on life support, who had to be resuscitated twice after losing a heartbeat. So we can't get distracted worrying about a tweet when the real focus is still Mr. Hamlin, his family and his friends, and his teammates, and the teammates of Mr. Higgins from the Cincinnati Bengals, and the coaching staff. Praying for the coaching staff on both sides of the field, on both sidelines that evening. That's more important. Skip Bayless's tweet is really not that important. And so I encourage all of you who are going to speak on this, whether you are a celebrity or not, whether you are a content creator or not, whether you are a sports fan of football or not, whether you are a boxing fan and you are also a sports fan or not, to use your opportunity to keep focus on the task at hand. And that is to show our outpouring support and our generous donations to the Hamlin family. Skip Bayless's tweet is really not that important.